Well, the thing is, Dickens was writing his books a long time ago, and people spoke and wrote in a different kind of a way then. I mean, it's English, we can see it's English, but some of the sentences and some of the ways in which the words are and some of the ways in which things happen, they're sometimes a little bit hard to kind of, how can I put it, unpack, to sort of pick out exactly what Dickens was on about. And so I thought if I wrote what's, if you like, called a parallel text, in other words, a book that's like the other book, that people would make the connections, they would go across between the two, my one and the Dickens one, a bit like going on a bridge between the two, and this would help people get to the Dickens, because I think it's amazing stuff that he wrote, and I would love people to enjoy Dickens, and so this was really a way to help people enjoy Dickens. Oh, that's quite difficult because, when you write a book and you create characters, in a way you love them all, even the horrible ones or the sad ones or the awkward ones or whatever, you love them all. And if you pick out one, you think, oh no, I better not neglect that one or that one. In a way, I quite like Shona's dad. I mean, I'm a dad, and Shona's dad is very poor and he's a bit pathetic, and Shona doesn't exactly love him. I mean, I think she sort of is figuring him out a bit, and he does try, and so I suppose I kind of can see in him just one or two things that are a bit about me. Mind you, that makes it sound as if I love someone like I love myself. I didn't mean it quite like that, but I feel a bit sorry for Dad. That's what it really is about, and so because I feel sorry for him, I think maybe he's my favourite. Oh, right. What's my favourite scene? Right, I don't want to give away the story, but it is actually the last scene. All I can tell you is that it's a funeral and somebody turns up who connects with things that have gone on before that were in the girl who is like Oliver Twist, Shona, that are in her head. So these things that were in her head, memories from when she was a little girl, and this person turns up and she's kind of grand in, I'll give this away, in an American sort of a way. And I think I quite like the way I've got Shona and her meeting in the ladies' loo, and I quite like the way I've done that. So that sounds a bit vain that I'm saying how much I like a scene that I've written, but I do smile a bit when I read it, even to myself. Oh, I think there's quite a few reasons, but one of them is that, you see, here we are in the 21st century. I was born in the 20th century, actually. And though life as it happens, it just happens and you think, oh, well, it's just now. In fact, a lot of the reasons why we behave the way we are is because of things that happened before us. You'll have heard of the Second World War, the First World War, and so on. But you see, Dickens was writing about a time in London, mostly, not entirely, but in London, when many, many people were very poor, but we owe it to them, just as we owe it to people, who fought in, say, the Second World War, and we owe it to them for our freedom and so on. So we owe it to those poor people from 150, 200 years ago, who made all those sacrifices and who suffered a great deal by being poor, but just put it like this, they had children and those children grew up and had children. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here now, would we? So I think, well, let's find out what life was like then. And Dickens tells us, Dickens shows us what life was like then. So let's read Dickens. I think if you look at Dickens' books, at one moment it seems like, well, we haven't got a workhouse, or we haven't got the kind of cruel things that go on in the books. There aren't children running around in gangs pickpocketing. And then hang on a minute, you go, well, actually, you open the newspaper and you find, well, there are people just as poor, even if they maybe not in Britain, well, maybe they are. Some people are that poor in Britain, and then in other parts of the world they are. And yes, there are street children who roam about and get into trouble and are in gangs, and there are people, older people, who, if you like, take children and get them to do stuff like you see in Oliver Twist or in some of the other books. You know, you've got, say, in A Christmas Carol, which I've done as Bar Humbug, you've got a man who is very mean and works too hard and doesn't actually pay any attention to anybody else and hates the poor. Well, I know people like that who, you know, work too hard and are very mean and look down on poor people and so on. So actually what Dickens was writing about, it's still around us. But he also shows us other things. He shows that people can change and they can get better, and think about other people and care for other people. And with Oliver Twist, back with Oliver Twist, it's survival. You've got a boy who, in spite of everything, manages to battle through, right from the very first little part where he struggles with coming to life and he cries with a great lusty cry, right the way through to the end when things work out okay, but I won't spoil the story.